Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, alongside former Packer Bryan Bulaga. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day. The Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. I'm Homer, but I won't have much to say. The opening statement, the Green Bay Packers, and we are attempting to find it, but it was the greatest prediction of my life. I'm on WTMJ on Tuesdays at 4:15. They said, what about this week's game? I said, the kicker will hit a game-winning kick. The Packers will be behind. They'll win by 2, and he will kick it from 46 yards. I messed up. It was 45 yards, though I'm checking with the NFL to see if, in fact, they had the yardage wrong, so I can be 100% right. All right, it is now the opening of the show, and that means the opening statement by soon-to-be, I don't know what year, Packer Hall of Famer Bryan Bulaga. Take it away, Doc, the doctor of football.
Well, good evening, and I'll tell you what, I can get used to Victory Mondays. I like Victory Mondays. The atmosphere, the energy, it's fantastic. I love Victory Mondays. But what a game that was the other day. I mean, and I watched Matt LaFleur's, post-game speech and heard a lot of the guys talking afterwards and talked about a complete football game. And I guess we could look at it, and the offense had their struggles, and there were some mistakes made, and it wasn't the cleanest operation on offense. But we look at the defensive side of the football, and I think that's kind of the story of that where I'm going to go with, and kind of the theme and the narrative with this, because that was the type of game that our defense needed to play big in, and they needed to have a big game, and they needed to limit them. And they did exactly just that. I don't know how many yards exactly Stroud threw for, but it wasn't that many. And to hold that offense and that guy to under, it was certainly under 150 yards. 150 yards throwing the football is unbelievable. And I get it, Mixon, he had a day. But listen, when you have an offense like that, you can't take away everything. It's impossible. Just like when we watched the Green Bay Packers, you can't take away everything. You just have to minimize the damage in certain areas. And the Green Bay Packers defense had their backs up against the wall multiple times, not to their own fault, but just to, turnovers and things that happened, had their backs up against the wall and stood tall, allowed field goals, and played their tails off. The D-line, the linebackers, the scheme, the pressure scheme, the coverage was fantastic all day. That's the type of display that I want to see from this defense going forward, because if they bottle that up and go play any team, they're going to have success, because that's the way, that game, and I don't know, maybe it was just me, but that game felt like the playoffs to me. Those type of opponents and that atmosphere, you could tell the crowd was into it. It was loud there. I wish it was a little bit colder wearing the all-white uniforms, but hey, it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers with that. but it had the playoff feel to it. And as a team, they rose to the occasion and got it done. And to me, this is the type of signature win you want. You want to have a big win against a really good football team at home to start catapulting you in to the rest of the season. And, they play the Jags this week. You get to 6-2, and you start out the first 2 quarters of the season 6-2. Man, you're feeling really good about where you're at. So to me, hell of a win, very entertaining to watch, and storybook ending with signing a new kicker, and he comes in like Homer says and hits the game winner. Can't make stuff up. Homer predicted it, but you can't make it up.
Yeah, here it is, Pebble. This was last Tuesday at about 4:25 on WTMJ Radio.
The Packers will win on a field goal at the end of the game.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
They'll win by less than 3, so they'll win by 2, and it'll be a 46-yard field goal.
Look at that. Nostradamus, man.
That's my greatest prediction ever. And I have appealed to the NFL. They listed as 45. I'm hoping I can get them to change it to 46. I didn't see exactly where it was put. I wanted to ask you, I believed I hadn't seen him play, that Stroud was very good, and I thought he looked horrible, but I don't know that I can say it's his fault. It looked to me, as we've said about the Packers in certain games, nobody was open. There was nothing there, and it maybe created a level of frustration, but he didn't seem interested or able to find something or make something that really wasn't there. I don't know how much you've watched him. I'm not saying I don't think he's any good. I'm saying I really don't remember anything I saw in the game that made me wow, understanding that the Packers were doing great things defensively other than stopping the run. And I guess maybe he gets credit because he didn't try to do too much. He just said, okay, all we can do is run. Fine, we'll run. And they could have won the game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I will say this. Stroud is really good. Like, he is a really good player.
How do you know? How do you know that? What do you see that makes you say that?
I've watched a lot of Texans games. Like, that's one, because, like, I think he's exciting, and I think he's fun to watch, and I think the offense is fun to watch. And I like D'Amico Ryans as a head coach. I think he brings a good youthful energy. It reminds me of the Green Bay Packers on the floor. I mean, I like that about their team. And for how bad Houston was for so long, and to see them have a great quarterback and a good team, it's fun to watch. Like, I like seeing teams that were really bad. That's why I like the Lions story so much. They were so bad, now they're good. It's fun to watch. But what the Packers did defensively with their pressure packages, their coverages.
He had 86 yards passing.
Okay, so even less than 100 yards. It's incredible.
Yes, no, I don't care how good the defense is. I don't care if the Packers have 18 guys on the field. A quarterback should have more than 86 yards. So,
hey, but like the thing you look at, and I haven't watched the L-22 yet. I've watched the sideline copy again. It wasn't like he was dirt and throws or chucking it over guys' heads. That wasn't happening.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, like, to me, that tells me that the coverage was that tight and the pressure was getting to him that quick that he had to just live to fight another day. And he did that because, like you said, he knew he had the run game, and Mixon was playing well. I like Mixon a lot. He's a good football player. And you're right. They had a chance to win the game. But, when you're able to go against a marquee quarterback and marquee offense like that and only give up really just the rushing, yards that they did, that's a win. That's a win. Because
I will defer to you if you can find me a game in the last 15 years on which the Packers dominated a team and their passing game with the level of excellence that team had showed prior to the Packer game. I mean, we can find some with horrible quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But
not with that level of quarterback.
Yards.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's a crazy number. And I was looking at Stroud's passing yards before the over-under for the game. I think it was like 276 was the over-under.
Yes.
Like they weren't expecting him. It wasn't like a 210 or 220.
Right.
It was 276.
Right.
So, like, for them to hold him to 86 yards, it's just incredible. And I think this was a game that we saw, and to me, he jumped out the entire game was Rashawn Gary. I get it. He got his sack and the dude tripping. Like, I don't care. That wasn't the game, right? Like, the game was him constantly in Stroud's face. He was constantly in the backfield, causing pressure, causing Stroud to move. Like, he was consistently doing that. And the one thing that stuck out that I think, and listen, I don't know for a fact, but the hit that Jair put on Stroud on the sideline, that he got, Jair put the shoulder in his chest when he scrambled, and then I forgot what linebacker it was. Maybe it was Cooper, came and finished him off, and it was a big collision. I think that was a play that rattled Stroud a bit, because that was a big collision. And Jair was talking all game. You could see he was talking all game. He was in his head. He was in the wide receiver's head. We saw what happened before the game even started. The defense was in the wide receiver group's head from Houston from the jump, and it showed. They shut those guys down. They had their number, and the tape is there to back it up. It was a fantastic performance. Hafley deserves so much credit, because that's not an easy offense to go against. Like I said earlier, the Texans are very similar with all the weapons they have to what we have on offense in Green Bay. Multiple weapons, different ways to beat teams, and to do what they did against that offense.
Can you imagine if somebody held Jordan Love to 86 yards passing? I got to go look.
No, I can't. I can't imagine it. That's why I'm so blown away by it, because we look at the level of these two offenses, and that's what it would be like, is holding Jordan Love to 86 yards passing. Like, it's just not, you couldn't fathom it. And that's what Green Bay did to Houston. And it was a defensive masterclass. And to call it anything else, I mean, let's talk about it then. If you think it was, I understand the rushing yards. But like I said, when you're going up against a team that does so many things well, you got to give something up. And Green Bay looked at it as, hey, if we're going to get beat, we're going to get beat by Mixon on the ground. They're going to have to grind these drives out. We're not letting Stroud throw for 340 yards and whip it around the field. And that's what they did.
I was amazed on their last drive that they didn't go for a touchdown, because I would have thought, hey, Green Bay could maybe get a field goal. They ain't getting a touchdown on us, their offense. It isn't going to happen. And they had, like, 1st and 10 at the 12 with 2 minutes to go. I'm trying to look at, and then, I mean, the Packers did it. He lost 2 yards. But I would have gambled much more than they did at that point in order to get a touchdown. I mean, they can lose 30 yards. That kid can kick from 60 yards. So you don't have to worry about being sacked, and you have time, and the Packers are – so I agree with you. I thought they would be a little more aggressive than that. And maybe they thought the way that they were playing against Jordan Love and kind of wasn't worth the offense.
Risk. Yeah, it wasn't worth it. And I understand it and hey, listen, DeMeco Ryans is a defensive guy at the end of the day, right? He's going to count on his defense to go out there and get the job done. He's got great pass rushers. He's got a good defense. He thinks we can stop him.
And in his defense, and this is why I'm so impressed, prior to the field goal, the previous 3 possessions by the Packers offensively, 3 and out, 3 and out, and 3 and out.
There you go. I mean, exactly. Why wouldn't it? If you're a head coach as a defensive coach and those are the last 3 drives, we can go do it again. We're going to go do it again. It's not a bit like we're going to go win the game here on the 2 minute with a minute and whatever was left. We're going to go win it. We're going to sack them. We're going to harass them. They're going to go 4 and out. And that's how we thought about it. And obviously it wasn't the right play, because Jordan Love went right down the field.
I wanted to ask you, this was, to me, the kind of game I remember so many times with Favre and Rodgers, and that is, we're getting beat, we're behind, no problem. Give me the ball at the end of the game. We'll find a way to score and win. And so whatever Jordan Love did the rest of the game, I don't care. He acted like an elite NFL quarterback, the Hall of Fame quarterbacks who are judged more than anything on, regardless of what happens early in a game, most of the game. With the game on the line, what do? 3 and outs in a row, and he goes down the field and gets it close enough. 2nd and 10 in both situations. I think it was Kraft got 9 yards, and then Dobbs. That's what the elitists of quarterbacks do, and what I'm always thinking, Tausch said it, and I'm sure you felt the same way. We were never out of a game. Never felt we were out of a game. Doesn't matter what's happening. That guy's going to give us a chance to win, and this is exactly what Jordan Love did.
Hell yeah. That's exactly how I felt every game. And that's how this team feels right now. I mean, every game we were in, if we were down by a touchdown or less and we had the ball last, there was no doubt in my mind, the confidence in that hole. We were going to go get at least a field goal. Like if we needed a touchdown, we'd get a touchdown. But if we needed a field goal to win, we're going to get it.
You were going to win that game every time. You thought that.
Yes, I felt like that every time. Like that, whether it happened or not, we had the confidence that we can go do it because of the guy pulling the trigger behind us. And that's exactly what we're seeing from this Packer team, because this Jordan Love is a really good quarterback. And like you and I talked about it on KBN before, the interceptions aren't bothering me because the production that he's giving is crazy good, right? And I think he's going to clean up the picks. I really do. I think these are things, and I said it too on KBN, there's some scar tissue that guys need to build in this league. Things that hurt you, things you do wrong, you learn from it. You do it a couple times, you're like, all right, I've been burnt on that. I can't do that anymore. And he needs to build that up because when you're young in this league, you think you can get away with anything. I was no different. I thought I could pass set this guy this way. I thought I could block Julius Peppers like this. Now you can't. You can't block him that way, or you can't throw that ball because you're going to get burnt on it. These dudes that you're going against are really good. So you learn from these things. And that's what he's doing. Like, people are thinking he's like a 5 or 6 year starter right now. He's not. He's a year and 7 games into his starting career. I get he had the one game against Kansas City. I don't count that, but he's a year and 7 games in. He is still learning, and we're looking at what he's doing from a production standpoint, and it is incredible. And like you said, end of game, I never thought in my head I thought they were going to go down and kick the field goal and win. I really thought that the minute they took the first snap in the final series, I'm like, I think they're going to go do it. Just because I have confidence in the guy behind center. That's how I feel about it. And obviously the weapons they have. Again, multiple weapons that can all get big chunks of yardage at a time. The defense can't cover anybody. And we look at the way Houston was playing. They were taking away Reed. They were limiting Dobbs. And who do you go to? Tucker Kraft. Duh. No-brainer. All day. You can throw it to that guy all day. I have no problem with that. If you want Tucker Kraft to beat you, he will beat you. And to me, Green Bay's got something special going right now. 5-2, chance to go 6-2 against the Jags. You got to love where they're at.
Rob Demovsky, not next, but soon. More Bryan Bulaga. And, of course, he always wants questions. 1-800-990-3776. And if you don't have them, you know I got them. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 41, backing up from just south of Appleton Avenue down past Burleigh. We've also got a few taps on the brakes southbound on 43 between Hampton and Capitol Drive. Broken down vehicle on the off-ramp to Watertown Plank Road from southbound 41 as well, so just keep your eyes open for that. Delays on westbound 94, 16th Street out to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's just got a little bit of a pocket of heavy traffic from about 68th Street to Hawley Road. And then on the bypass, southbound from Beloit Road down and around the hill to about Forest Home. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, a low of 56. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, spotty showers, breezy with a high of 72. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lozga on 94.5 ESPN.
Every big pitch.
It's gone! Francisco Lindor!
Every big hit.
It is gone! Ohtani!
Every big play.
It's gone! It's a grand slam! Thomas!
ESPN Milwaukee is your home for the hottest action on the diamond this baseball postseason.
It is out of here! There's the home run for Judge!
Tune in all postseason long on the way to the Fall Classic, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming on the Wisconsin On Demand app.
At Great Midwest Bank, we've been serving Southeast Wisconsin homeowners for nearly 90 years. Wait, 2024 minus 1935, 89 years. Wow. In our 89 years as a community bank, we've learned a lot about the values of the people who live and work here and appreciate the loyal customers that have made Great Midwest Bank who we are today. Find a location at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local, equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Are you looking for a reliable ride? I've got you covered. It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. I use AccuTrans Group for my private transportation needs during the college football season. AccuTrans is a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. From corporate travel and weddings to group events, AccuTrans Group caters to every occasion. Booking is easy, safe, and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to get a quote or to book a reservation today for reliable and safe transportation.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
This political season, you'll hear a lot of noise. But this November, Walker Media Agency has the expertise and team to improve your marketing, advertising, and IT. Start at WMA2024.com. Paid for by Matt Walker and Walker Media Agency.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
To hear more from Bryan Bulaga. Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's County's Urban Pie and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. What else did you like? I mean, it was the defense and the kicker.
Yeah, you like the kicker and the defense.
All right, I got to ask you this. I don't know how much you follow snappers. I have stated for some time the most important thing a punter does now is hold the snap. Of course, people don't know. Maybe it was you. Quarterbacks used to do it, the backup quarterbacks, and then I think coaches figured punter just sits around and doesn't do anything. We want the quarterback to be going through the offensive practice, and so we'll have the punter try it, and they've shown the ability. Was that snap so bad that we should, to what level of credit do we give to the holder, or was it not as bad as it seemed?
I mean, it wasn't a great snap, but you got to give credit to the holder, right? Like, hey, listen, that's a tough gig.
Is it?
Under pressure, if it's a bad snap, to get that thing down and get the laces spun out in that much time.
Yes, which he did, right?
Yeah, which he did. Yeah, it's a tough gig. Like, and under pressure, I mean, it's not easy. So. And, you know, I get they've probably taken a bunch of snaps already and practiced together, but with the new kicker and the timing's different and how he likes things done, it's a process. So, like, gotta give credit to the punter for getting that thing down on the ground and in a position that McManus liked it and put it through. I think there were things, obviously, to like on offense, right? Like, it's not like we're sitting here and say the offense did nothing all day. There was plenty to like offensively. And obviously Jacobs in the second half came alive, and that was good to see because That's something that I've been saying for a long time now, and I still consistently feel it. He needs to get going in games. They got to get him going early, because in the second half, yeah, he's elusive and he is shifty through, once he gets through the line of scrimmage, but he's a punishing back, right? And if you do the body blows to these defenses earlier in the game, in the second half, man, it's just punishment to the defense with that guy. I mean,
I've asked you this before. Can you see it from the defense that they just don't tackle as well? Or when do you look and go, yeah, this is pretty much over. We own them now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you normally look in those second halves of games, and say you have like 60 or 70 yards rushing in the first half, and you're getting big chunks at a time. You can tell in the second half. You can just tell by the way the D linemen are coming off the ball, how they interact with each other. There's normally some arguments going on.
Really?
And they're looking at each other. They're talking about who should have been like. You can see it and you can feel it. And that's something that, as an offensive lineman, that gives you a little more juice, because just keep leaning on them. They're going to quit. They want to quit. They're looking for an excuse to quit. So just keep going. Keep running the ball. Keep just pounding the rock. And eventually, like the game that sticks out to me, like a sore thumb, like it really does. It was in 2019. We went to Dallas, and Aaron Jones, I think, had 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns. And I swear we had a buck in the first half, and we were just running it all over him. I mean, it was like, and you could tell by probably halfway into that second quarter, they're done. They have absolutely
and you still want to run the ball, because I would, if I were you, say to my quarterback, dude, you can pass and do whatever you want, because you're going to have a week back there. They ain't thinking about pass rushing anymore because of what we're doing to them on the run. Or does that never take place?
Well, I mean, it always takes, because
you always want to run. You've never said that. You have never said that to a quarterback ever, have you?
No, because we knew we were going to throw the ball anyway, which Aaron did really well that game anyway. He did it, but like one helps the other, right? When you have made these D linemen try to hold up in the run game for that long, and you've just beat them up, it's difficult for them to rush the passer. Their legs are gone. They're taking on double teams. They're trying to set edges. That stuff's not easy. And when you got 300-pound guys moving you and running you laterally and then vertically, and there's a lot of different schemes you could do, it wears them out. And then all of a sudden there's a quick play action. They think it's a run. They dig their feet in, and then the ball gets thrown 30, 40 yards down the field, and no one's there even looking at the receiver. And that's what the game that jumps out to me is that Dallas game, because we could have done whatever we wanted and it would have worked. And that is the feeling that offensive linemen just dream of throughout a game, is we beat them up so bad, it doesn't matter what we do, it's going to work.
What does a great defensive lineman do? Just never quits? Just you can have the big runs and just keeps coming back and has incredible energy, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you look at guys like Crosby and like Bosa and Watt and Garrett and all these really, really, really high-end rushers and D linemen in the league. It doesn't matter to them, right? They just keep playing, and they play a million miles an hour.
And they're never going to quit.
No, they're never stopping.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, these, especially the DNs, what they're out there to do, yes, stop the run, but they want sacks, right? So if they get an opportunity to rush the passer and get a sack, even if they've given up $120 on the ground, they want that sack. They want to put pressure on the quarterback and make you look bad at some point throughout that game. So like you always have to be switched on going against those types of guys. And the one thing that if I had to, like, this was probably the first game that I've watched that I've said Zach Tom didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game. He didn't play to his normal self. And I'm going to tell you what, I said it last year. I'm saying it again this year. Danielle Hunter is a really good pass rusher. He's super unconventional. He's very long-armed. He's a long strider, and he does things to tackles that they're not used to seeing. And he got Zach Tom multiple times on a move that I remember as a player seeing a bunch and having to learn how to block it and see it and adjust to how Danielle Hunter plays. And that's going to be tape that Zach Tom watches today, and he's probably going to watch it a few times and learn from it because he's a great tackle. So he's going to take that game and learn from it, and he's going to be even better next week. My guess, he throws an absolute shutout next week because of what happened against Danielle Hunter this week. I mean, and listen, the Jags got a couple good pass rushers too, so it's no off day for him next week against the Jags.
Rob Demovsky is next. I do want you to know there's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. She wants a diamond. You know it, and I know the where, and you need to do it at Robert Hack Diamonds. They offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. They've got it all figured out. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs, $8.95. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or total weight in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Talk about that with them. They'll explain that to you. They got it all figured out. That's why their prices are unbelievable. Somebody else would be $5,000. No, $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. They'll also take care of you as far as repair services. Cash for your old gold. They have some of mine. Remember, before you do anything, call Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit roberthackdiamonds.com for information. roberthackdiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield. I'll be very quiet. Rob Demovsky and the Doc. Bryan Bulaga next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Moving along pretty well for the most part. No incidents really up on the board that we have to worry about, except westbound on 94. Seeing some delays out of the Marquette, pretty much from 20th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. And then we've also got some delays southbound 41 from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. We've also got some delays southbound 43, basically from Hampton down past Capitol, and then again right through the Marquette onto 4394 southbound towards the KK River. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy, mild, a low of 56. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, spotty showers, breezy with a high of 72. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
What does the skeleton say before dinner? A bon appetit. And why did the ghost go to the bar? For the booze. Yeah, Halloween jokes can be corny. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've provided the most spooktacular selection and savings in town. From skull-shaped vodka bottles and pumpkin cream liqueurs to adult trick-or-treat bags and your favorite seasonal wines and beers. We've got the spirits to get you in the spirit. Combine our selection with everyday low prices and 2 convenient locations, and Discount Liquor is the one trick-or-treat stop you can't skip. Discount Liquor, locally owned and family operated with 2 locations, in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine. See all of our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Hey Milwaukee sports fans, it's Brad Nortman from Kyle Brust & Nortman. You've invested too much into that nice ride, so don't settle for a gas station car wash. Treat it to a Tsunami Express car wash. State-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Now with 5 locations across greater Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is your go-to spot for a flawless finish and a first-class car wash every time. Trust me, your car will thank you. Sign up for a membership online at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Road, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week, even Sundays. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, service, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Yes, I tell you to go to Fisco Auto Body so you'll like me more. This is how it works. Fisco Auto Body in Forest Home in Franklin. The family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They're so good. They've been doing it so long. They can't tell you how easy. The quality is great, and if you listen to me and go there and people have, they love the place. Fisco Auto Body in Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. And then they realize to thank me. Hey, this place is great. Homer, thanks. Makes them like me even more. Not top of the list, but it's up there. Fisco, to remember the name. Rob Demovsky and the Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga. This is their segment. And, of course, because he always asks how people are doing, and I don't, the Doctor, Bryan Bulaga, takes over. Doc?
Rob, good evening. How are you?
I'm great, Brian. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. You ever seen when was the last time you saw the Packers give up 86 yards passing in a game against a Tier 1 quarterback?
Well, I'd have to go back and think about that. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if the answer is never. I'm really and truly like. I mean, there were what was it a playoff game where I guess the Vikings were Joe Webb was like the last minute starter. And they really couldn't throw the ball, but not against a guy who was the guy, right? Like I'm not so sure I've ever seen that, but what a pass rushing plan, pass coverage performance by those guys, and the crazy thing is, okay, they had 4 sacks, fine, whatever. It's not it's not unbelievable, but 3 of the 4 sacks, Brian, were when they rushed 4 guys. Now they would blitz different players, like Eric Wilson, like Xavier McKinney, but they weren't 5 or 6 man pressures. They were still only rushing 4 on 3 of the 4 sacks. That they were able to do that with just 4.
Yeah, that was the part. And listen, we've talked about that. Like you need to be able to get home with 4. Now, what 4 that looks like? Sure, you'd love it to be the conventional 4 defensive linemen, but if you got to bring it in different ways and show different looks, that's what Hafley did, and it was really well done. I want to kind of, because Homer and I talked about this on KBN, and we talked a little bit about it before. Are you personally, based on what you've seen, I mean, you're at these games live and you kind of see what's going on. Are you that concerned about Jordan Love's interception, kind of his rate of how he's throwing picks at this point?
A little bit. I definitely am a little bit more from a decision-making standpoint. Take the one on first down yesterday. I asked Matt LaFleur, about that one today, and look, he not blamed it, that'd be too strong of a word, but he basically explained that there were some protection issues that forced Jordan to retreat and backpedal like that. But the thing you'd rather not do is throw the ball where it was designed to go, but just because it's designed to go there doesn't mean you need to take that shot. I had sort of asked him if it was more of is he concerned about LaFleur's decision making or his footwork technique, where he seems to be, falling off of his back foot, and that's when he got into the whole protection issues. So I would say it would seem to absolve him of any fundamental footwork flaws. And how particular Tom Clements, the quarterback's coach especially, is about footwork. So doesn't seem like they're overly concerned there, which I think, is one thing that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to, you certainly don't want to continue on at this rate. It was unrealistic to expect him to be the 18 touchdown, 1 interception guy that he was over the last 8 games of last season. I mean, that's just living in dream world right there. I mean, if that's otherworldly, that when it's happening, you say, ride it out as long as you can, but you know that it can't last. Look, I do think, and I know LaFleur had the line yesterday, we can ease off with the Brett Favre comparisons, and I'm not saying Jordan is that, but he does seem willing to maybe take a few more chances. That touchdown to Tucker Kraft, not that Rodgers wouldn't have made that throw, because there's been plenty of tight window throws that he's made, but it felt to me more like a Brett Favre play than an Aaron Rodgers play. I thought 21 picked it off. I mean, live, I couldn't believe the ball. That was down to my left in the, I believe that was in the north end zone, a little bit farther away from where we are, and I couldn't see the ball get through, and I was like, wait a minute, is that a touchdown, or did he pick that off? That thing was incredible.
No, that was a great throw. Now, did you think LaFleur meant that? Let's lay off the Favre stuff as a negative or like a positive? Like he's not a Favre level status, or he takes care of the ball better than Favre. How was LaFleur? Like, what did you think about that?
I took it as the latter. Like he takes care. He's not taking wild shots like Favre is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I actually went back and listened to it, watched the press conference again today for a second time to try to figure that out. And my gut was that, hey, let's ease off with the Favre comparisons. Like this guy isn't a wild man, but maybe it was the other one. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah. Listen, because I remember you mentioned it, and I think you talked about it after the Rams game, right? When he threw that deep ball to Reed, and it probably should have been picked, but it wasn't. And LaFleur talked about it. That's one that you say no, then yes, once it's caught. That's got to be kind of what he like when he makes these decisions. That's got to be something that they're definitely addressing within the film room with him, right? Hey, bud, you do a lot. You do a ton good, like a bunch really good, but we can't have two a game. Like we just can't have it.
You know what the interesting thing is? I think, and I don't hold me to these exact numbers, but I think these are right. Favre's second year, I think he had 24 interceptions. That would have been in 93, I guess it was. And he had 13 the year before. And then it came back down a little bit, in year three. And there was a time in year two where they actually had a conversation in the meeting coach's offensive meeting room about sitting Brett down because of the interceptions. And Steve Mariucci, his famous story that Mooch has told about, he said, no, we need to stay with him. And of course they did. But it's not, I don't think it's that uncommon, Brian, that in your second year, your interceptions might go up a little bit. And here's my theory on that is, the first year you're trying to be so careful. You're trying to run the play exactly how it is. You start to have some success. You have more and more success. And then the second year, you have almost an overconfidence, if that makes sense, like a little bit of well, I can take this shot because I'm and sometimes maybe, that happens and you have to rein it back in a little bit. I think he's going to continue on this pace. What has he played? He's played 5 games and has 8 picks. So I don't know. I'm terrible at math, but that's 1 point something a game. I think that he's going to end up with whatever that would be, 20 interceptions or whatever it be at the end of the year. No, I don't. But I also think that there's going to be times where, this does happen just because of what we talked about. The other thing, too, is that he's got a lot of guys that he can throw to, and he needs to sort of trust that, I don't have to force it to this guy just because that's the first read or that's where the play's supposed to go. And maybe he would, I think the first one, where the safety or the one that was deflected and it was picked off. I think that one, he was so locked in on that guy from the start that he's got to realize I've got 2 or 3 other receivers and a tight end on this field that can catch the heck out of the ball, and maybe I need to do that a little bit more too. I think that might reduce the interceptions a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, I said to Homer and I said to KBN that I'm just not that concerned about it at this point. Does it need to be cleaned up? Yeah, of course it does. I don't think anyone's going to sit here and tell you that this is fine, it's okay. Yeah. But I'm just not, because I do think that he is by nature going to be careful with the football. I just think, I said to Homer, there's some scar tissue that needs to be built as a young player in the league. What not to do? What did I get burnt by? not to do that again. I think that's what he's going through right now, and I think eventually that's good. Like you said, work itself out.
Was it the first pass of the 2-minute drive to Dobbs that kind of was a dangerous one? I think it was the first one of the 2-minute. And Aaron always used to say that first pass of a 2-minute drill is so important just to get a completion and get going. And I would say I was a little bit like, when he threw that first one that kind of he put in a little harm's way. But, obviously came back right away after that and, did a beautiful job with that drive. And I even said, I looked up, all right, 1:44 on the clock, one timeout, need a field goal. I mean, that's like almost the exact scenario that it's usually like 1:40 or 1:30, one timeout, need a field goal in the 2-minute. And I mean, that's why you do it every single day. People tweet, we would tweet every day in training camp, well, they failed the 2-minute drive today. The defense won. I mean, how many times did the defense win that drive in training camp? Well, you know what? Maybe all those losses that the offense had in that 2-minute drill, paid off, and that they really figured out how to do it on Sunday, because that is the most important drive in a game like that. And look, we saw the opposite happen in the San Francisco playoff game last year. So I think you got to give a lot of credit to everybody on that offensive unit for getting it done on that 2-minute drive.
Yeah. In the press box, how was the feeling about the field goal? Everyone feel good about it, or what was the thought?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. We're a bunch of cynics up there. And, it's a quiet working environment. It really is. But, there's definitely plenty of whispers. There were plenty of whispers, I got Will D 2 seats down for me, Matt Steinman to my left, Bill Huber to my right. We were definitely going, oh, boy, what do you think here? We like to play the make or miss game. And honestly, I think most of us thought he was going to make it. Now, had that been Braden Narveson, in fact, I asked Zach Tom, who was on the field goal team. I think he's the right tackle. He's definitely on the blocking unit. I said to him after the game, I said, how would you have felt a lot different if it was, the previous kicker? And he paused for, a couple seconds, and clearly he didn't want to say, oh, yeah, I would have been much more worried. He said he kind of caught himself, and he said, you know what? I was just worried about doing my job, which was just blocking my guy. But you could tell that somewhere in the back of his mind, there's no question that these guys in the locker room felt better about it because, they had a guy who's been through it. And the interesting thing now is that, the long snapper won a Super Bowl with the Rams. The kicker won a Super Bowl with Denver. And Daniel Whelan, the punter, is the only one in that unit that doesn't have a Super Bowl. He's done a pretty good job. That's a pretty accomplished battery of snapper, holder, and kicker right now.
All right, I only have one question for you because the docs are so good. So how do you feel about the team? Is Houston as good as you thought? Are the Packers as good as you thought? I mean, Mark Tauscher after the game said something to the tune of this team is a rocket ship. There's no limit. And there seems to be a disagreement, that they play poorly. And so we think less, even though their quarterback found a way to win like their quarterbacks have been doing for years. Take it away.
Yeah, it's a great question, Homer. I think that you'd have felt a little bit better if they didn't have to come down and win the game like they did. If the Texans had, they didn't have Nico Collins, right, who's one of the top receivers in the league. They were missing a bunch of guys on defense. The teams that they had beaten before Houston, the 4 wins that the Packers had entering the week, those opponents were 7-15, a combined 7-15 record. And Houston and the other two, Minnesota and the Philadelphia Eagles, were combined 13-3. So I think it was a win that you had to have to show you could beat a good team. But certainly not a complete win and a complete team yet. And we won't find that out this week. But, Jacksonville's really struggling. But let's see what happens when Detroit comes to town.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep.
All right, we'll be seeing you.
Back to the doctor of football. Bryan Bulaga, Victory Monday, brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. Never get tired of winning. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. On this show, it's always football season.
And your argument was that the coaches wanted him to return it.
Yeah, I think,
and he very clearly said, no!
They wanted him to take it to the house.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Play the results, are we?
That's what coaches do sometimes, yeah.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. Hop in or hop online at uwcu.org to join. Another convincing victory. Wisconsin cruising 23-3 over Northwestern this past weekend. Luke Fickell's locker room not wanting this win, but needing it, as he put it. His post-game remarks, audio courtesy Wisconsin Athletics.
What happened last year, it was one of those things that it stung, so this entire week was just, a little bit of a different edge to what we needed to be able to do. And it was good. It was good for us because we needed to keep pushing.
3 straight dubs, a nice stage setter for the upcoming Under the Lights showdown with number 3 Penn State.
Pella's windows and doors feature durable materials, custom colors, and innovative features like shades between the glass. Get 0% interest for up to 36 months at PellaWI.com.
Get everything you need for your bathroom remodel now at Menards. Magic Woods has the vanity you need to complete your dream bathroom. Check out our great selection of over 100 Magic Woods vanities. They offer timeless and traditional vanities with superior quality and unique styles to complement your home. Explore all our vanity options in store. And don't forget to check out our flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
I like the nightlife. How about you? I want to share.
I like to tell you how far away it is. Yep, American Place Casino. A little more than a half hour south of Franklin. It's actually 38 minutes, you want to be specific. And I love it when people say, Homer, I'm sick and tired. Are you ever going to stop? No, I want you to know. American Place Casino, a little more than a half hour south of Franklin, 38 minutes, located in Lake County, Illinois. Exciting table games. Got a sports book. They got great food. They got all kinds of promos. You go to AmericanPlaceCasino.com. But only one thing's important. Everybody together now. American Place Casino. Just a half hour south of Franklin, a little bit more, 38 minutes. The Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga. Is this the first game? I'm thinking where you go, they just got to win this game. You can't lose to Jacksonville. Jacksonville had at least an impressive second half against New England in London, but
They got to win. They got to win.
Do you go to what's it like as a player going into a game like that, like this? You like it because you know you're better and you're going to win, or do you ever get concerned because it happens to teams? I don't know if anybody thinks that as a player.
Yeah, no, you understand what you're going into, right? I mean, Jacksonville's a wounded animal. That's what they are, right? Like, they're backed into a corner. They're fighting for everything. The head coach is fighting for his job every week. That's what you're going into, right? And there's going to be a ton of Packers fans there, so it's going to have a home field vibe to it.
How is that? How does it? Did it ever surprise you? Do you enjoy it? What's the reality again as a player? You love it?
Because like you go on the road and you're not in silent count. It's normal operation. It's fantastic. Like, yeah, there may be some noise early on from the home fans that are there, but if you get on them early and you say you score the first 14 points, it's a Packer home game.
So traveling large is not overrated. It's maybe even a bigger deal than people think for players.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous. Like in Green Bay does it. They're very good at it. Pittsburgh's very good at it. And they travel really well, and they give the road team a home advantage. Hey, if there's only half the crowd cheering for the home team when you're on offense and the noise, you can hear each other, you can communicate. It's an advantage. But with that, these are the games that sometimes as a player you worry about, because on paper, in reality, you should go in there and take care of business. And in most cases you do, but there's always that one or two times every couple of years you go into a place like this. Do you remember
any of them? I still to this day can't believe we lost to this team on this day.
Yeah. I'll say it. 2011, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We went to Kansas City. They had maybe 2 or 3 wins, and they beat us like a drum. And they beat us from the start to the end. And you left and went, what the hell was that? Like, what just happened there? And that's the only thing that if I'm Matt LaFleur, I am pounding that message home. You can't treat this game any different than what you just did here against Houston.
How do you know if the players are believing it, though?
You just have to count that the guys in that locker room are professional enough that they understand what's at stake here. You go, at the halfway mark, essentially at 6-2, you're setting yourself up to be in really good shape in the last half of the season, especially with Detroit coming up, right? Like, you want to be in the best position possible, feeling good about how you're playing when you have that team on the schedule coming up soon.
All right, was there ever a doubt when the Packers got the ball, did you think Jordan Love's going to get her done? Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I felt great about it. I was literally looking at my wife going, this is going to come down to a game-winning field goal. This guy got here 4 days ago, and he's got to kick a game winner. This is going to happen.
Thanks,
and it did.
Yeah, it did. As predicted by someone the previous Tuesday. Thanks, Doc.
Yep.
Tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into the Bucks and Six, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucks star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became the rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Yep, 55 himself. Find Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcast. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. 6-2. 6-2. I'm not counting it as a win yet. Next!
Moving along pretty well for the most